Today we're going to be making over this amazing find that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $125, which may sound like a lot for a frame, but these
thing's huge.
these go for thousands of dollars with mirror in them. So we're going to attempt a French country finish and try to replace the mirror with some old mirrors that we have. Whenever I'm creating a piece of furniture and I want it to have like a really old age look, it usually requires multiple steps and all the right products just to get it right. We're gonna start with Apothecary, which is a DIY paint color, which is a beautiful blue-green, and add in some salt wash to give our base layer of texture.
All right, so we've got a little bit of prep. I'm using IOD air dry clay. We've been using this as like a wood filler. It's amazing because it fills in there and you can sand it later if you need to. Just a little bit of wood glue, and then I'm just gonna press this down in and smooth it out. And then that is completely filled. We can paint over it. It's gonna dry probably in about an hour, hour and a half.
So I've just got a little bit of Apothecary left in the bottom of this can. I'm gonna mix it all up. And then I'm going to add salt wash to this mix for texture. It's supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio, but I just mix it up till I like it. Salt wash is a really great way to get that aged, over the time, chunky, layered paint effect without actually having to layer up a ton of paint. We're going to just add this randomly in a stippling motion. There's already some weird texture situations happening, so I feel like this will just make it work better for us.
Well, and it's really gonna help with the coloration. We wanna add some more colors to this.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly white and gold, but anywhere we sand back to the salt wash, it's gonna have this great blue-green color. The trick here is to do it kind of random because you want it to look like natural age, and natural age is never all the same. All right, so the next step is we're gonna be milk painting. Milk paint gets chippy. I'm taking a risk by not adding extra bond, but I'm hoping that it pays off. I've got 8 ounces of the milk paint powder, 8 ounces of warm water, and I'm just gonna mix them up together here. You want your water to be warm, and then I'm gonna use a fork to bring them together. If you want a really smooth consistency, I suggest using an immersion blender, but in this case, I don't care if it's a little chunky. So with milk paint, if you add a little bit less water than it calls for, you can make it a little bit thicker and then it goes on a little better. Just be careful not to make it so thick that you can't get it to spread on your brush. You don't have to be super particular, especially with a piece that's busy like this, because milk paint lays down pretty flat, and then when you sand it, it gets really buttery smooth. If it looks a little streaky, then that just means that you need an extra coat. So I did not add any extra bond to this, and it's possible it could all chip off. Extra bond just makes sure that it sticks a little bit better to your piece, but sometimes I'm willing to take the risk because I want the perfect chippy.
All right, Jack is home from school. He's gonna get in on the painting. This milk paint's super easy to use.
You do it right there. Looks like some kid colored on that. You would never color on this, would you?
Yeah.
You getting in the cracks there, Jack?
Mm-hmm. Insider.
It's called the insider. Why is it called the insider, Jack?
Because it gets inside all the cracks.
There you go.
Is that your paint face, Jack?
It's concentrating.
All right, we have this old mirror that we picked up. Oh, I don't know, it's been a long time. It was $15. Frame's cool on it, mirror's great. And it's gonna become the new mirror in this piece because we didn't get a mirror with these. What would you even call that?
The Trumeau mirror.
That's a Trumeau mirror?
Yeah, that's just the frame, so.
All right, cutting this mirror. So I need 30 wide by 21 1/4. So right now, I got my goggles on because when you cut in glass, you never know what's going to happen. Little shards might fly. You do not want that in your eye. Okay, so I'm going to score it. And I'm not a great glass cutter, but I found if I push hard the first time, it's better than making multiple passes. You're going to hear it. Oop. Let me keep it from moving. It's just a glass cutter from the hardware store. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna tap the back. That's gonna carry that brake across through the middle. Okay, then I put it to the edge of my table here, and 1, 2, 3, snap.
That was before the 3.
All right, so just going to take a piece of sandpaper. This is my waste edge, we'll probably get rid of this. I'll take a piece of sandpaper along here and that'll dull that down. You can use like a sander or grinder too, but I like to just use a piece of 80 grit sandpaper. Once we get that mounted in there, that's gonna be real nice.
You just can't get this type of milk paint crackle with any other paint that I've found. And the way that it chips in sand is always unique to milk paint and really replicates a really old French country European feel.
Say hi to the chickens. They're hiding out.
That's why my hair is always up. So because this is foam and we're not sure how well that would sand, we're just gonna sand this by hand and then maybe do some wet sanding, see what happens. We're gonna use 220 grit sandpaper. The other thing that sanding is going to do is bring back that original apothecary with salt wash to give it a really great chippy layered look. Okay, so I'm coming back over the detail with the golden ticket. It's kind of a, I don't know, see-through finish, so you can still see the white and stuff underneath, and then I will sand it back a little bit, but I just wanted a little bit of metallic in here. Okay, I don't want 100% full coverage, so I'm just coming in here and just covering a little bit of the detail. Then we're gonna come back and clear wax and black wax. So before I get to the layer of dark wax, I want to clear wax the whole piece, so that way I have a little bit more, I don't know, maneuverability with the black wax, because if you go straight black wax, it makes it really hard to move around, and then it looks just kind of dirty, and I just want it in the details.
I like to call it control.
Control, that's the word. I want some control, so I'm just clear waxing it. I'm using DIY clear wax, and it will make the paint look a little translucent. Once it dries, it'll be just fine, so don't freak out. It'll also deepen up the color of the apothecary, and really it's making that pop quite a bit more than it did before because it makes it a lot darker and deeper. Okay, so we're at the last step, or probably the last step. I never know when I'm completely done.
It's time for the black wax.
So I work in very small sections and wipe back as I go.
Well, and if you get too much on here, you can always come back with some more clear wax if you get it where you don't want, or it won't wipe off like you want, and that'll help you remove some of that black wax too. I love how random you are with it. Me, I'd be like every crease, every little crack. But you don't really have to do that because, you know, a little bit of dinge goes a long way.
Well, and natural age is never uniform, so you kind of have to decide where you want to grunge it up and then just go with it. It's kind of how I just like slap the gold on there. Totally off label here, you're always supposed to wax last, but every time I wax, I feel like I lose some of the luster. So I like to come back and just kind of hit the high spots and dry brush more gold on. And yeah, some of it might like peel off or whatever, but that's okay. I just want a little bit more shimmer. Zeb's gonna install the mirror that we cut. We could not find a mirror in my stash big enough for the bottom, so we're gonna go ahead and order one. It takes about 3 weeks to come in, but we decided to go ahead and finish what we can and get the video done, and then I'll share a picture later in community once we get the big mirror to the bottom. It's just like an inch too big for one that I found on Marketplace. I was super sad.
Okay, so my mirror cutout, the foam is not even. I'm like a 1/4 inch proud right along right here. So I'm just gonna cut this foam. If it was wood, I'd do the same thing. I could cut the mirror, but that's gonna get a little sketchy cutting that small of a piece off for the mirror.
Oh yeah, much easier to cut the foam in the mirror.
This foam is dense. It's tougher than some woods I've cut.
Well, it's old. It's probably like from the 70s because it's all orangey.
You saying it's hardened over the years?
Yeah. It's calcified.
No, I'm just gonna fit it down in, see if my cut was good.
So we're loving how this mirror came out, and we think that this video will help you guys with coming up with any kind of chippy layered finish, whether it's on a mirror or a piece of furniture. You really can layer up and achieve an old world look.
We've got a mirror coming for the bottom part, so that'll be taken care of in the next couple of days.
Sometimes in YouTube world, not everything happens when we want it to, but we wanted to get this video finished. If you want to get the products to create a similar look, hit up JamiRayVintage.com. Zep's going to drop all the links below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.